Hey guys, this is God of Politics. I'm going to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But I have absolutely huge news, and I'm sure all of you have seen this already, but I do just want to talk about this in a video. But Raphael Warnock has defeated Kelly Loeffler for the Georgia special Senate runoff. He has beaten her by so far 1.2%, and I expect that lead to rise to, maybe even up to 2%. We will just have to see. And then for the other race between David Perdue and Jon Ossoff has taken the lead. He does lead by 0.4 percentage points. They should have called this already, for real. They should have called this hours ago. I actually called this on my Twitter at around 9:40, I think. I knew this race was over, and I knew that because of where those ballots were coming from, and that was from the Atlanta area, which is what pushed Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock over the top. They were actually both down until a bunch of ballots, 171,000 to be exact, came in from DeKalb County. There was some miscommunication. Some people said 117,000 and then switched around the digits, but it was actually 171,000. And when they reported, Warnock took the lead and Ossoff was down just 3,000 votes. He then was down a little bit for a couple minutes, maybe half an hour or so, but then he did take the lead once more ballots came in from Atlanta. We had some from Gwinnett, some from Fulton, some from DeKalb, and it was a really crazy night. And I think it was pretty clear early on, after we saw some of the exit polls, which were quite bad for Democrats. It showed Perdue doing like 8 points better with college-educated voters. Like, that was not realistic at all. We know those exit polls are not accurate, and exit polls are basically just a poll with a larger sample size. We know what the polls were like. Well, they were accurate in this election, but overall they were generally not too accurate, especially the CNN polls, which is where we are getting those exit polls from. But there's many takeaways from this race. First of all, the turnout is absolutely insane. 4.4 million, could approach, maybe 4.45 million. It's just ridiculous turnout. In the general election, if we go over to the state of Georgia down here, we can see that we hit around 5 million votes. We see that 4,997,716. We are only about 590,000 short of that. So that is record turnout for a runoff. Democrats really mobilized their base to turn out. They got really high turnout in DeKalb, really high turnout in Fulton, really high turnout in the Atlanta suburbs, and really high turnout in southwest Georgia with a lot of these majority black areas, whereas Republican turnout really lagged in areas like North Georgia, and even, pretty much everywhere, turnout lagged. And we look at the shift from November, pretty much everywhere shifted towards the Democrats with a few exceptions, and this is really a good sign for Democrats because we all know what this means. It's that they take the Senate now after they have projected to be winning Warnock's race, and shortly, I hope, projecting to win Ossoff's race. That will be 50 senators for the Democrats, and Mitch McConnell will still hold the Senate until January 20th, when Kamala Harris will come in as the president of the Senate, being the vice president, and be able to break ties. That will give Democrats an edge in the Senate majority, and it will be very, very crucial for a number of reasons. I do have this article here saying Democrats move closer to Senate control as counting continues in Georgia, and this really talks about the importance. I mean, I can talk about the importance, but this article really lists it out in a very good way, and it basically talks about, how Ossoff and Warnock are both winning, and it says the impact on Biden's agenda. This is a very big impact. It says control of the Senate significantly changes what President-elect Joe Biden could do, but most importantly, his party would now be able to set the legislative agenda. Democrats failed to make the kinds of gains in the Senate races in November that many had forecasted, with GOP incumbents staving off strong challenges in several states. But with narrow control, they would wield the gavel for Senate committees, call hearings, and decide which items get top priority. Now, this is very, very crucial here. Senate committees, call hearings, and decide which item gets top priority. So, first on which items get top priority, this was one of the big problems that Democrats had. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats passed like 400 bills in the House. It was a ridiculous number of bills, and most of them just ended up dying in the Senate because Mitch McConnell wouldn't even take them up for consideration. But now that we have Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is going to be the Senate Majority Leader, that is going to be very crucial because he can take those bills up for a vote. And the optics of it do not look very good if he brings up, $2,000 stimulus checks or a new Voting Rights Act, and then Republicans try to block it. That does not look good for optics, and it does not bode well for them if they're trying to get some gains in the midterms. Senate committees is also a very, very big thing. You're going to have Bernie Sanders as the head of the budget committee, and the budget committee chairman does have a big say on what does go in the budget. Bernie can, try to stuff in some programs that he does like, and I think that is going to be good for the Democratic Party, and I do think that that does help his agenda for progressives and also for the Democratic Party as a whole. And it says if Ossoff also wins, which he will, I can say that right now, he'll 100% win. I'm recording this at around 12:30. He was 100% going to win. He was 100% going to win last night at 9 o'clock. It says Senator Chuck Schumer of New York is expected to replace CRP Senator Mitch McConnell as majority leader and will determine which bills come to the floor for votes. It says the ambitious proposals addressing climate change and healthcare and other domestic priorities touted by Biden and Harris would be difficult, if impossible, to advance with more moderate Democrats, especially those facing competitive 2022 midterm re-election campaigns, reluctant to sign on to partisan proposals. The much smaller than anticipated House Democratic majority compounds the challenge for the party. So it does talk about how, Democrats would still have difficulty getting their agenda passed. They can't get rid of the filibuster, which makes it so that you need 60 votes to stop debate, which means the Republicans can filibuster a lot of things, but Democrats can get around that in a lot of ways. Number one, the judges that would get passed do not have a filibuster on them anymore. Neither do Supreme Court justices. The cabinet members do not have filibusters on them, as well as the reconciliation can be used to get around the filibuster. This can be used up to 3 times a year, but usually it's used in one big package. And what that does is you can change the budget. This only applies to the budget, so you can't do things like immigration, those kinds of things. But you can do it to the budget and shift the budget with just 51 votes, getting around the filibuster. Democrats could use that for tax reform, which is what Trump did in 2017, and what they tried to do getting rid of Obamacare. Maybe Biden decides to bring back the individual mandate, which I doubt, but that is possible. He can use that through reconciliation. It says he could also get an infrastructure bill. It does talk about here he's first going to try and get a coronavirus relief bill, which I do believe that he could be able to get passed. I think the optics just do not look good for there to be a strike down by Republicans of a $2,000 stimulus check. I think enough Republicans might support it, but we'll have to see on that. And it also says Biden does plan to unveil an infrastructure act that could get support from Republicans. It says in a statement Wednesday, Biden said that, quote, Georgia voters delivered a resounding message yesterday. They want action on the crisis we face, and they want it right now on COVID-19, on economic relief, on climate, on racial justice, on voting rights, and so much more. They want us to move, but move together. And that's very crucial because, Biden has recognized the win, and Biden's going to try and get a lot of these policies done. And it's going to be very difficult to get a lot of these policies done, but it's going to be much easier than if Mitch McConnell was the Senate majority leader. So that's very crucial to think about. It says it looks like we'll emerge from yesterday's election with Democratic leadership in the House and the Senate, and of course I'm pleased that we will be able to work with Speaker Pelosi and Majority Leader Schumer. But it says I'm just as determined today as I was yesterday to try and work with people in both parties at the federal, state, and local levels to get big things done for our nation. So he does still hope to get bipartisan things. Obviously a lot of that is just for talk, but I do think that Biden could get some bipartisan things done. And it does say progressives are also pushing for a Senate rules change. It says liberal Democrats are pressed to get rid of the legislative filibuster so they can pass major health care and environmental bills with a simple majority. That is not going to happen. Joe Manchin's already said he doesn't support that. I doubt people like Mark Kelly or Kirsten Sinema will as well. But the filibuster is not going anywhere, most likely. It says Biden has sidestep questions about whether he supports doing away with keeping the 60-vote threshold, but several top Democrats have signaled that they back changing a rule many of them once insisted was essential to the institution. If Ossoff wins, there will be intense pressure on Biden and Democratic leaders to show they can pass some bills with GOP support, but the Senate Republicans stay largely unified to thwart the new Biden administration's agenda. Calls to eliminate the filibuster will increase. Manchin has publicly said he will oppose any effort to change rules, and he will have outsized influence in the closely divided chamber. That's one thing as well. Joe Manchin is going to be a very powerful man in the Senate. He's going to get a lot of what he wants if Democrats are going to want his vote, and that is going to be very interesting to see. But overall, I did just want to make a video about these results because it is very historic. Raphael Warnock is the first black senator from the state of Georgia. Jon Ossoff is going to be the youngest senator in 40 years. He's at the age of 33. So this has been a very historic election, a very fun election for just the 2020 elections overall. Democrats had some tough times, had some good times, and that's, I guess what elections are all about. But this was a very interesting election. We still have some more votes to count, but the result is clear that a resounding victory for the Democrats has come. Democrats will be taking the Senate. They are keeping the House. They have Biden as president, and that is going to be very interesting to see, and I will continue to make videos on that. But thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.